What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Stage, where I get to talk to many people who help make your events run, from commentators to photographers to TOs to event directors. I have them all, I talk to them all, and you guys get to learn what they do and how they do it. One type of talent, I guess we can call them, they are definitely talent, I don't have often, is commentary. If you've seen in season 1, we had the Hollywood with a capital H jammers on. And this season we have Hollywood with a capital H, C4. C4, what's good, man?
Probably not your budget, because this season you couldn't afford jammers, so you got the dire version. So I respect it, but I'm good.
I won't call you a dire version of jammers ever. You two are not chalk and cheese, but you two are very similar in terms of friendship and in terms of, I wouldn't say commentary styles, but definitely you guys do riff off of each other. But yeah, no, you're definitely within budget. Obviously Jammers took out a large chunk, but you know,
I can imagine
it happens. But yeah, you're good, I'm good, we're doing this, and yeah, you are the officially second commentator.
I like second place. As a Vegeta enthusiast, second place is perfect for me. I like always having a goal, which is first place. Yes. If I ever get first place, then I've got nothing to do. So yeah, I love to strive constantly. That's me.
And I say second place because I don't count Damascus as a commentator when I interviewed him on this podcast. He does so much. I basically classed him as the Evo France tourism board, single-handedly pushing that agenda. When we talk about everything else, not really bad as commentary. But yeah, you are a commentator. And so for people that are listening or watching, if you give yourself a little bit of an introduction, please, C4.
Yeah, I guess I am C4IQ. I guess this could be a first. I used to be known as Shifts. That was my gamer tag before C4IQ. Yeah. That was given to me because I used to shift between games. So I'd play like MMOs, puzzle games, RPGs, fighting games, and then just shift around. So everyone used to call me Shifts. And then I guess I like rebranded in Frost Tekken, just before Frost Tekken, yeah. That's when I was like, I'm just going to do a different name. Super egotistical, and I'm going to be explosive intelligence, because I thought I was the smartest person in the room. So, humble beginnings. Now, my humble beginnings. My FGC, I guess, origin story would be Heart of Gaming. CT, Captain Turt, shout out to him. Met him on Facebook, and I think Dark Horse Strife, shout out to him as well. Said, "Oh, come to the Heart of Gaming. People play Cross Tekken," and that's when I met Jammers and sit there offline training mode.
Ooh.
And I was like, this guy's a sweat. No one leaves their house to do training mode offline. I respected it though, fully respected it, and that's how I met Theory, Jibs, Luckbox Q. Wipeout I did meet before that though. Shout out to EX Wipeout. I met him on online MVC3.
Okay.
Online MVC3, yeah. So out of all the people, I've known Wipeout the longest. And then yeah, I think after playing tag games and whatnot, the Huey Gear era came out. I was known as CT's friend until I won a tournament, and that was my motivation to win a tournament. And there I became the anime guy. So since then, I got into commentary after like the first 2 years of Rev 2.
Okay.
And basically what happened was there was a tournament where I brought the equipment and commentated the tournament. And I got paid more for the equipment and commentating than winning. And I was like, I'm done ski. I'm gonna commentate.
No.
That was what pushed me over the edge. But what got me to the edge was people commentating my match as a Leo player. You get zero respect. And I was like, no, I'm doing some really smart stuff here. And I just don't think the commentators are that good enough to notice it. So that was what put me to the edge. And in getting paid more for talking about the game than playing it was what pushed me off. And then, yeah, I basically became the anime commentator from then. So I did Dragon Ball, on the side, I did stuff like Street Fighter, really like KOF. So I do KOF mostly 14.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly 14. I didn't do much 13. That was way above my pay grade. That game's real hard. 14, 15, yeah. They did quite a bit for that. I did Skullgirls. I really like Skullgirls.
Yeah.
Me and Jammers did online Evo for Skullgirls.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Definitely did that, yeah. And then, yeah, but mostly people will know me for Dragon Ball and Strive.
Yeah.
Strive now.
Yeah. There's a lot to digest in that introduction, which was amazing. Thank you very much. My first question, you mentioned Marvel, online Marvel free. Was it vanilla Marvel or Ultimate?
I met Wiper on Ultimate. When vanilla came out, I think that might have been the first time I really looked for a community. So I played 4 online, and I just played people on my friends list.
Yeah.
I remember playing Balrog and looking at the input for his Ultra and going, that's impossible, right? How can you do back forward? Yeah. And then I saw Vagrant Guy. I was like, what? They're making me do a pyramid. How the hell do you do that? And then I saw headbutt into Ultra, and I was like, nah, they're trolling. That can't be a thing, right? And I remember that's when I think that's when I asked some of my PSN friends, because I was playing on console. I guess that was before Steam.
Yeah.
Might have been before Steam. But yeah, I was on PlayStation, not an Xbox.
Okay.
Also, my PlayStation is, and I think that's when they first told me about stuff like event hubs.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's how I started. And then, yeah, I missed Neo Empire and stuff like that.
Same.
I missed all that era.
Same. But yeah, so from UMBC free online with EX Wiper, shouts to these guys again. They're all a bunch of lovely lads. To go into Heart of Gaming, meeting Jish, CT, Darkos, Jammers, watching him sweat in training mode, offline, in a shop, basically. It's, yeah, that is definitely an introduction to fighting games. And then, yeah, going on to bringing your own equipment to an event to host a side tournament or the tournament on that at the event, and then realizing you get paid more for commentary than actually entering games. Where did you place? Did you place second or first, Doug?
The year I bought the equipment,
yeah,
that was first.
So
that was I can't remember. It was a long time ago. It was Rev, and I remember I had to beat Anby in Grand Final. Shout out to Anby. He made Gun Frame back in the day, so the frame there for Guilty Gear. He called it Gun Frame because he played Soul. And I vividly remember that, and BB Tank will vividly remember it because he was commentating, and I had to play. I'm so sad. I forgot the player's name. The best Eno we had, basically.
Oh, okay.
Can't remember his name, and I used to hate that matchup. I think Eno beat Leo.
Yeah.
And we did a barn check, went into the match, and he said, my barns are wrong. And I was like, I guess that's 1-0 to me then, right?
Basically, right?
I straight out took it. I didn't ask for, like, guidance from a TO or nothing. I said, nah, I'm taking that. You didn't check we both checked our buttons. You missed up. So I'm going to take that. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I won that one. And I can't remember what year it was, but that was the first, I think that might have been the first, like, quote unquote major. I mean, it was for Guilty Gear Rev, so it wasn't really a major, but it was probably like the most popular anime game. Back then. Yeah.
Like, it was I wouldn't say the peak of Guilty Gear, because we're hitting new peaks now with Strive.
Yeah.
With Plus R rollback, pushed everything back out again. But Rev, Guilty Gear Rev that was just before, or it was during when I was playing Street Fighter 4, but I never got into anime fighting sin. But yeah, coming first and commentating and realizing you get paid more for commentating at the same event that you came first in, and then you decide to pack it up and become a anime fighter commentator, and you've basically been, I want to say around the world, might just have been in the US, but you've done Dragon Ball Fighters, you've done Guilty Gear Strive, you've done King of Fighters, not really anime, but you've done Skullgirls, and shouts to Skullgirls, that's an amazing game, I love that game. I'm really shit at it. But yeah, so that's your humble origin story of coming into a room, kicking down the door and going, hey, what's good? I'm the best. The most intelligent, sorry.
Most intelligent, yeah, maybe not the best. Well, self-titled most intelligent vagabond of commentary, just going, I like this game, let me talk about it. I like this game, let me talk about it. That's literally all I did. And then, like, yeah, I think with Dragon Ball, where I got my big break, that's when I got basically like recommended to do it offline. Before that, it was pretty much all online.
Okay.
Shouts to Logan. After me and Logan had a little bit of beef, it was probably like a year or so. So you might have forgot. I didn't forget. But regardless, after we had a little bit of beef online, he saw me and was like, "Oh, you're the anime guy. Do you want to commentate Dragon Ball?" And yeah, for the kind of pretty dismissive, like, "Oh, yeah, you're pretty good. You can talk. We can basically trust you not to swear on the mic." He gave me a chance. He listened to me, and then he vouched for me to go to an offline commentary. So yeah, a lot of my career path started because of Logan. So shout out to Logan.
Shout out to Logan.
And forever.
Yeah, Wednesdays on Logan Sama. He is one of UK, definitely London, but UK's best homegrown, like, grassroots scene coordinator. Tries to run Wednesdays on like every month where possible. He's a busy man. But you know,
absolute pillar of the community,
honestly. But yeah, so that event again, I'm sticking to that event where you won first place and you were commentating.
Yep.
Why were you commentating? Was it like, to talk to me? Why did you have to commentate?
My ego at that point where I was talking about people talking about my matches as a Leo, that was already happening. This was after I made a Google Doc on how to fight against my character. Okay. I was kind of sick and tired of people like, oh, he's just going to the back turn, derp, mix. I'm like, to get my back turn, I have to win neutral. I'm beating you in neutral. I don't have a run. I have to get in. Like, I've got a boom, but as a charge character, for a minute, I have to hold back. And I still find my way in. You get mixed. That's not my problem. My problem isn't you blocking when I'm giving you a Google Doc to block it. You need to take some accountability. But anyway, that was my ego. And I was like, I want to commentate because I don't think anyone can commentate and break down the match as critical as I can. Okay. Like, literally. And I know to a degree, because where Guigi was at the time, it was kind of more like a homebrew, like, I don't want to use the melty thing, like the bathroom kind of setups. Like, no one cared in the back room. You just say what you want. But to a degree, I was like, I want people to be recognized for when they're doing good stuff. And I was like, yeah, I can't get someone like Jammers to talk about Gooey Gear. You could try. So I was like, oh, I guess it's hard. It was hard. He did it once or twice, though. He did do it once or twice. But for the most part, I was just like, if I want the change, then I have to be the change on some anime protagonist stuff. So yeah, that was happening before that tournament. And at the tournament, I was pretty confident that I would win because Shawnee wasn't there. Basically, Shawnee wasn't there, and I was just like, I think I can take this. So the prior two tournaments, I came second and second. Okay. The first big loss where I got a massive ego was losing to Kaisertron. Okay. Yeah, and I was also like the story. Yeah, so I'll get back to the versus fight thing. I promise. This is really important, though. Yeah. This is one of the stepping stones for me being an arrogant arsehole. This is your Uncle Ben. Yeah. This is Uncle Ben didn't die, but my humbleness did. My humbleness died this moment. Okay, because we played versus fight, and I think the forge is still up, super old, and Kaisertron reset the bracket on me and beat me. Right, and after that, everyone kind of talks to each other. It's pretty close knit with Guigi, being the outsiders and whatnot. Yeah, and everyone was really happy for him. And I didn't want to be that guy to like take away someone's flowers, but they were all like glazing so hard. The glaze was so caked on him. The reflection from the light was blinding my eyes. He was that glazed. He changed skin color. He was so glazed, right? And I was just like, okay, shout out to Kaisertron, but Kaisertron doesn't play this game. He's had a kid. We lost to someone who does this as a hobby. Is no one else like upset about this? They should be. What do you mean? Okay, but the father buff is a real thing. Like the dad's marriage buff is a real thing, it seems. But carry on. I just don't believe it. I don't believe the father buff. I think it's a massive coincidence. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just a disbeliever. But yeah, he got all the praise. You should get praise when you win.
Yes.
But I thought, where's everyone's pride? You're losing to someone who plays this part-time. We were grinding back then. We was real, like, hardcore grinding. Kazatron wins, and I was like, no one in the Guild scene cares enough for me to get good. I can only get good if people care to play, like money's on the line all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And there were some people, like CT was like that, BB Tank was like that. When Fury jumped on, he was like that. Also, Rabbit, when we started having house sessions. So it did go that way near the end, but back then, that's when it clicked. I was like, I spent like a year being an underling to CT, not having a name in a WhatsApp group to prove myself. And then I found out the people that I'm proving to myself don't care. They're shit, and they don't mind being shit. So I was definitely in a whirlwind of emotions. But yeah, then got to versus fighting. I won that. I was like, I did it. Started from the bottom. Now I'm here. But now I see there's another step, which is commentating. And I cared more about that. I cared way more about presenting the game than doing my thing in the game.
Okay, good. I'm glad you brought it up. And yeah, more important to you in presenting the game. Not just because, people are giving out misinformation or not having the critical thinking process of Leo, the character you play. You wanted to put Guilty Gear, Zerd, Rev 2 in a good light. Even though it was not, even though back then there were no real majors, no real pro tours. There were majors, but there were no pro tours back in the day when this was happening.
Rev did have one, but it was really messed up.
Oh, yeah.
And I might have to you can fact check me, anyone watching this in the YouTube comments. So there was a kind of world tour where basically it was qualifiers to go to Makito in Japan and play the arcades.
Yeah.
And I was excited. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going. I'm definitely going to qualify. I'm in my prime right now. And then I think I went to Evolution, the one in London.
Oh, yeah.
Evo.
No.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Revolution. Not Evolution. Revolution, yeah. Went to Revolution, and I was talking to the guys, and they were like, oh, yeah, you go to the arcade in Japan. I was like, I didn't think this through, because I play on Hitbox.
Yeah.
And I don't play on stick. And then I asked one of the reps at the time about, what happens if I do win? Like, being humble about it. What if I happen to qualify?
Yeah.
What would happen? I know that you can plug in hitboxes into cabs. I've seen it. You used to do it at Heart of Gaming.
Yeah.
And they went, yeah, you can't do that. If you qualify, you're going to play on stick. And I was like, God, there's no point in me qualifying then. And no point. I'm gonna go to not be able to play properly because I'll be on stick.
Yeah.
So there was a kind of world tour. It was more like a qualifier just to experience playing there.
Yeah.
But that's all Rev had. That's literally all Rev have.
Yeah, and that was pretty much all we had back in the day. Like Street Fighter 4 had this sort of similar setup, and obviously Rev now as well. And speaking of Revo, shouts to the boys at NGI. Revo is now gone, unfortunately. The event's finished, so they're not bringing it back. But hopefully we see something coming out of them guys one day, hopefully, maybe. So yeah, trying to win the trip to Japan. You were already on Hitbox back then. It was before Cheatbox became a proper thing, before everyone turned up picking it up for Street Fighter, for all the fighting games in general. We could go into the depths of why did you buy a Hitbox and why were you using it back then, but I'm not going to go into that. That's not for this conversation.
My story.
That's it. That's the best part of your story? All right, bring it. Let's go.
It is the best. I honestly think in the UK, I was the first person to play on Hitbox. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I got a Hitbox from B15, who, if you're from, I don't even think you need to be from the UK to know that. B15 made probably the best sticks in Hitboxes. But when I asked him for a Hitbox, he said, I'll get back to you in a week because I need to see if I can get the like framework.
Yeah.
Right. So when he said, I was like, maybe that not many people have a Hitbox. I can't remember why I wanted a Hitbox, but I remember I used to play on pad.
Yeah. I
used to play Marvel 3 on pads.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know. I can't imagine playing on stick or anything because then I can't really press assist buttons at the same time as attack, blah, 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 blah. And then I got the Hitbox, and that's when I used to play Skullgirls with jammers.
Right.
And I would go to pads, I'd beat Jammers. I go to hitbox, I'll take L from Jammers. So it took me a while to actually dedicate my time to it. That's when I started playing Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear, I started on hitbox.
Oh, okay.
Prior to Guilty Gear, I was going from pad to hitbox. So yeah, I think no one I remember in Guilty Gear, I think maybe Rabbit played on hitbox a little bit. He was a Bedman player. But other than that, no one else was doing it because I remember I went to an MVC3 tournament and they banned me. They said you can't play on hitbox because you can do silly shenanigans.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want proof, my hitbox, just do like C4IQ hitbox. B15 did a YouTube video where he shows the hitbox. I think it's like 9 years old. The video's like 9 years old, and I was using it before I got the B15 one. So I'm like 10 years deep from now in 2025. I think I am a pioneer for hitbox in the UK.
Potentially, probably the pioneer. Yeah, someone can argue that in the comments, or people who are listening, like, come on, write in. Like, you can. C4 is a man that will love to discuss topics with you.
I love it.
You do. As a man, as a grown man with responsibilities and full-time jobs and everything else, the fact that you still have time to have these discussions online in nearly any platform is a wonder and amazing to me. I just got to throw that out.
Yeah. I just burned the candle up both ends. I mean, normally text arguments are a lot easier because after having a kid, I realized I'm almost relegated to mobile gaming. So
that's why you play more with
It's just easier. Way easier. So people see, oh, you're taking all this time to talk to people. It's like, yeah, I'm actually killing time because I've got my phone in my hand and I'm looking after a little one. I can't go on my console. I can't go on Steam and play like a first to 10 or anything. I have to say in the fun room, and YouTube comments are easy to access, so it's easy. Or Twitter.
Easy accessibility. It's wonderful for all.
Exactly.
So back to your origin story, again, commentary to trying to get to Japan to play Mikado for Rev 2, and then finding out that hitbox, your hitbox was not allowed, and so that idea was scuppered. Talk me through your commentary history then. So from Versus Fighting, where you commentated and played and won, to being and speaking to Logan Sama, to commentating Dragon Ball online and offline, to Guilty Gear EMEA regionals where I was with you as well there, to talk me through what events you've worked at. For those that don't know you, even because I'll know you, like what events have you done?
So prior to Logan platforming me for offline, I'd go to Meltdown. So there's going to be a lot of shout-outs. I'll just do them and just try and remember. The twins at Meltdown, they saw that I had, I guess, a little bit of charisma and a little bit of mic etiquette where, like I said, I think back then the bar was don't swear and you're good to go. Like you jump on the mic as long as you don't swear, right? And you have to know a bit of the game. So every now and again I'd go to Meltdown. They'd sometimes let me take my consoles down so we could play Guilty Gear. But for the most part, it was Street Fighter and occasionally like KOF. Then the Logan thing happened, and then Dragon Ball happened. And then that's obviously when, well, not obviously, but that's when Damascus the Tyrant, shout out to them, I guess maybe saw enough in me to keep me sort of as a... I don't think they would look at it like this, but this is how I looked at it. I was like the pocket commentator. So if Tyrant of Damascus, like one of them was like sick or doing a Street Fighter thing, it's like, oh yeah, just put C4 with one of them two and it'll be fine. And like I said, I don't know if they look at it like that. I doubt they do, but that's how I looked at it, and I was fine. I was absolutely fine being the third wheel. That's understandable. Those two were the ambassadors. They were the ambassadors of the game. So I was like, I know where I am in the hierarchy. Totally fine. And I really like the game. Really, really like the game. I really like Vegeta. So by extension, I like the game. So I do Dragon Ball for a bit. I did one of the world tours. I think it was the second one, which was in France. And I'd probably say from there, plus doing ICFC.
Okay.
When they were doing that. That's Tenno Media.
Yes.
Yeah. So alongside Dragon Ball, I was doing ICFC. And I think that was when America noticed me a bit more. Because I guess I'll show you this. In Dragon Ball, I was Goku Black. Basically, I was Tyrant. Everyone said that me and Tyrant sound the same. Yeah. So I was just basically Black Tyrant. For the most part. For better or worse, I didn't care. I thought I gave enough of myself that EU people know the difference. Yes. A couple of NA people didn't know the difference. Understandable, that's fine. They're not used to the accent, whatever. And then, ICFC happened, and that's when Guilty Gear dropped. Yes. And I guess in the UK, they were like, oh, you're the Guilty Gear guy that we put in Dragon Ball. How would you like to talk about Guilty Gear? And I was like, so long as Leo's in it, I care about the game. I'm a very simple caveman person where I love Vegeta. I'll play anything Vegeta's in. Leo looks like Vegeta. I'll play anything Leo's in. That's just how it goes. Okay. So yeah, from Dragon Ball World Tour, that was mostly in France. Yeah. I did a lot of the stuff in the EU, I guess, mix-ups Leon. Yeah. UFA's Paris. Yeah. Versus Fives in Birmingham. Yeah. Hype Spot in was Scotland. Yes. Revo was in London. Yeah. What else was there? I've got all my badges still here. Literally should I show you? This could be like a weird flex. That's fine. And for those that are listening, check out the YouTube video and you will see what C4 has just put on screen. That is all of his badges that he has attended, all these events. It's a varied career, I'd say, to say the least. Because you've also done Brussels Challenge, haven't you? I do. I've done Brussels Challenge, Fist of the Knot, Shaz to Will I. Fist of the Knot. That was in somewhere up north, I'm guessing. Versus fight in, what else have I got here? Electronic Dojo, which I guess is still versus fight in. Yeah. I did Mix Up, Brussels Challenge, UFA, Combo Breaker. Shaz Combo Breaker. Shaz. Yep, Shaz to Rick. Only the best. Shaz Bode. Plenty. And that's it. Plenty. Yeah. Many. Not enough though. There's still places I haven't been in EU. I haven't been to Headstomper before. Well, Headstomper has been announced. They are running. I don't know. And commentary slots applications have opened. So I would say throw your name down if you haven't done so already. I have. Good man. I am most likely not able to go because they already have a photographer. But this podcast is not about me. This is about you, C4. So yeah, you've done a lot of events. You've done plenty of big work. Plenty of, don't want to demean it, smaller events, and more of some online, some offline. Again, shout outs to everyone that's you've worked with. Again, Tenor Media, always, Evo, Revo, versus Fighting, so Electron Dojo, the Twins. We've had Mark on this podcast already. Like he was the very first episode ever of Behind the Stage. So if you guys haven't seen that, check that one out. And you can see how this podcast has evolved over the last 9 to 10 months ish. One thing you said during that whole part of your commentary career so far, and something I want to pick up on, you mentioned that the bar back then for commentary was basically not to swear on mic, on screen. Yep. This being my podcast and me being, this is us doing our thing, that you're allowed to swear, I don't care. Okay, cool. But, yeah. Thank you. Two questions I have from that. Mm-hmm. Where did you see this bar? Actually, I've got a few questions. Where did you see this bar come from as someone that was pretty much just dabbling in commentary and not really taking it to be a professional career as such? You can correct me there if you don't want to, if you think it was going to be a professional career. Where the bar is now compared to back then, if it has changed, if at all, and where do you take your inspiration from in commentary? Okay, cool. So back then, when I say the bar was like lower, that's not to diminish what the big commentators are doing. I think a better way to describe it was that there was a massive gap between newbie and veteran. Okay, massive gap. There was, when I was looking around, there was no one in the middle, maybe besides Jammers. I think Jammers was the only person who was like, yeah, we're doing Meltdown, but I want to make something more of this.
Yeah.
He was like the only one. Everyone else was like already established, like F Word, Logan, Pirate Damascus.
Yeah.
They're obviously the people who ran in London, right?
Yeah.
For Street Fighter. I think for all the other games, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what it's like.
How can you find?
Yeah, it was like they're not going to do tournaments for that game, so you can never aim to be like a top level commentator for that game.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird. I didn't hang around with Tekken players that much, so I don't know if it was different there. I guess it was the same as like Street Fighter, but
Yeah,
Street Fighter is what I know, so yeah. You had this established Street Fighter commentators, and everyone else was like F tier. Like, it just didn't matter. But I feel like no one was striving to be a commentator. So it wasn't that the bar was low, there was just a massive gap.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, I think to me, it was only Jammers who was like climbing up.
Yeah.
And then me personally, I think after COVID, is when the bar got higher.
Why?
And
what happened?
people got mics and cameras. That's what happened. People got mics and cameras because most of the people that did offline commentary didn't have a setup at home to do commentary.
True. Very true.
They didn't have it.
Yeah.
And once you sink money into something, you try a little bit harder. So, yeah, it was a little. I mean, the cameras back then were cheap. You know, everyone was using the what's that camera that everyone uses?
Logitech C4IQ. Yeah.
Everyone got one of those, and I mean, back then it probably was a bit of money, and everyone had a Blue Yeti, right? It was a
Yeti mic skill
commentator starter kit. There was a Blue Yeti and the Logitech, right? Everyone got that during COVID because no one could go out, and it might be cool to video call, voice call, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think what happened during COVID, because there was no offlines, everyone cared about online.
Yes.
Everyone cared about online, and then most of the online tournaments were like non-paid. So the pro commentators would be like, yeah, I'll do it here and there, but I'm used to getting paid, which is fair enough.
Yeah, everyone's got bills to pay, everyone needs to eat.
Yeah. And plus, there were so many, you couldn't get them to do every tournament. It was just impossible, right? Yeah. There's only so many tournaments a week or even like overlapping that they could do. So a lot of commentators, I feel, noticed the kind of attention that commentators were getting, and they were like, oh, I've got a camera, I've got a mic, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
And the level, I feel, did go higher than watching people do it at like Meltdown, where Meltdown's kind of like a house session. There's which is good. That's fine. People were like, it was a lot less PC, I guess. It wasn't like thuggish, but it was like, like if someone did something silly, people would call it out, we'd all have a laugh and we'll have a drink afterwards. It's fine.
Just for context, before you carry on, sorry. When you say Meltdown, what we mean by Meltdown is Meltdown back in like the Street Fighter 4 days, not Meltdown currently, where the commentary bar has obviously risen with the times. Please continue.
Yeah, this is Street Fighter 4 era. Street Fighter 4 era. Time ago. So yeah, after COVID, I guess I was technically already commentating a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I did like ESL.
Oh yeah.
Strive with Theory.
Okay.
Theory Fighter.
Yeah.
Shout out to him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to him. Meh. Yeah, shout out to Theory. He's an alright guy, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a little bit of experience. I kind of already knew what I wanted to do, which I think helped a lot. When I got into commentating, some of the jammers told me he got asked was like, why do you commentate?
Yeah.
And I had that off rip. I commentated because my ego thought I was better than other people. It wasn't a great reason, but
if it works,
it worked. I mean, it worked for me. It definitely worked for me. So it was a case of, okay, how can I describe and put the players that I'm talking about in the best light for anyone to understand? Top players and grannies. I want everyone to recognize what that guy did was sick. All I cared about. So when I started commentating Dragon Ball, shout out to Dunk, at the time, I was like, oh, what Dunk's doing is different to me, but it's really powerful. He was very, I don't know what to call it. It was like esports emotional. He's very esports emotional.
Okay.
I don't know if he would say that, but when something's hype, his voice is cracking.
Yes.
He's like almost near tears. Like he is getting vibrant, zesty, all the phrases you want to throw him. It's a spectacle to behold.
Yes.
And his cadence and his talking points where he picks out are very similar, I would say, to like me.
Okay.
But he does it in a very professional way. Where back then I was terrible. I was terrible at commentating. I had the worst mono voice. You would never hear me go up or down with my pitch. It would be this, even if it was like the last game, last round, or if it was the beginning of pools. It was trash, so trash. And I saw him, and I was like, this was like my Vegeta Goku moment. I was like, oh, I ain't letting that guy get stronger than me. So yeah, I think Dunk was a big reason where I was like, I don't want Dunk getting my jobs, basically. I don't want Dunk getting picked over me. Where when I was hanging around with Jammers, I was like, there's no competition with Jammers. He does Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm motivated by like pettiness and competition. Even if you're not in competition with me, I can be in competition with you. And yeah, Dunk was the first person because I saw him as like, oh, he started later than me.
Yeah.
And he's catching up to me. That's not good. It's basically the Kaisertron. I had Kaisertron PTSD. I was like, wait, I've done all this work. Why is he like right next to me? So that was my motivation. And then, yeah, I think after Dragon Ball, well, actually, no, just near the end of Dragon Ball, I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to like a game as much as I do Dragon Ball, IP-wise. I don't think it's going to happen. But I more care about representing the game more than anything.
Sure.
Way more than anything.
Okay.
I felt like the way I do it was, it wasn't the best. I feel that I took more creative steps, personally,
right,
from what I saw, than most other people.
Okay.
There's people that have their I call them quirks. I think most notable commentators have a quirk. Like Damascus can speak multiple languages.
Yeah.
Logan has, his memory is insane. He can tell you who won, in Battle by the Bay. Like, he would tell you the top 8 of Battle by the Bay. And then, like, Jammers has got move names, blah, blah, blah. I was like, every known commentator has a quirk. I was like, what is my quirk? And I spent a lot of the last kind of years of Dragon Ball not looking for a quirk, but trying to see which quirk was useful to me.
Okay.
So like wordplay, or I have like props, or get more animated, stuff like that. And yeah, Dunk forced me to do that. I don't know if I would have done it if Dunk wasn't there, because I would be like, oh, I'm cool being the third wheel. I'm fine with that. But I was like, nah, I can't be a fourth wheel. Nah.
You're getting demoted, basically.
Yeah, nah. Then I'm going to be a spare wheel in the back of the boot. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. Okay, cool. I think that answers the questions I've already thrown out there. Your motivation, like the bar. What's the bar now to you? The commentary bar.
In the UK or like EU?
Just
overall?
Overall.
The bar's higher.
Yes. What's changed?
I think the influx after COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the influx after COVID made it so if you was in my position, it was just like just underneath Jammers, you couldn't just float on by. You had to step up. I think before COVID, to a degree, like I said, there was like the top and then the bottom. There was no one in the middle. Yeah. So it was all established.
So
after COVID,
everyone jumped in the pool. Everyone jumped in the pool, and then you were in a sea of everyone else at the same level, and then just not magically, but by default risen because the amount of bodies turned up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There was definitely something that happened where people would look at not experience, time in, and equate that to skill. I never do that.
Okay.
It worked out in my favor. So like after COVID, they were like, oh, you commentate before COVID, so you must be good. And I was like, if you think so, sure. Yep. That's not the maths I would use, but if you want to use it, that's fine by me. But after COVID, I think you had a lot more, especially in America, with like TNS, where they had like their whole kind of like group, and people that came from Salt Mine, like St. Cola and whatnot, they just shot up into like really prime positions. And that's when the bar rose. I think when you see those people go from online to offline, the bar or doing that was a bit more clear and a lot higher than it was prior.
Fair. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'd appreciate that as well. And yeah, that's like people like Saint Cola. Like some might say he's a industry plant, but he's put in the work. And he is doing what he's doing. He's getting these gigs. He's doing great for himself, which is all that matters really at the end of the day. You are a freelancer in this industry, and everyone has to, like I mentioned earlier, everyone has to eat. So you do what you have to get these jobs. Just don't screw anyone over, please.
Literally.
Please. So, C4, in your commentary career, we may have already gone through this, but I just really want to ask it, make sure we have this down. Like, what do you think you are most known for in your commentary career?
Honestly, I think it sounded like Tyrant. I legit think that is it.
Is that recency bias, or do you think that is legitimately the thing that you are most known for people mistakenly hearing your voice and thinking it's Tyrant?
Okay, so for Dragon Ball, it's 100% a Tyrant thing.
Okay.
It didn't really leak much into Strive.
No.
Because Tyrant didn't commentate Strive.
Yeah.
In Strive, it's probably that I hate people that call Leo's Flash Kick a DP. That's probably what that is.
Yeah, I've heard you run on that one too many times in person.
Yeah, I did it. Probably, I think I did it at a time when I didn't want to do it. And I couldn't help myself, and I was at Evo top. Was I doing top 16 with Giuna? I wasn't going to do it, but Giuna did it and cut me deep because Giuna plays Leo as well.
Yeah, two Leo players.
He's an old head.
He is an old head.
And I was like, they got to you. the kids got to you, and now you're calling it a flashing DP. And yeah, I remember on commentary saying, "Oh, what now?" And it was like DP, and I was like, "I don't know what that is. Leo doesn't have a DP. I'm sorry, it's a flash kick." And I remember like thinking, this is one of those turning points where you can go beyond being a heel. You can just be obnoxious, and people hate you. But I don't think that happened. I don't think people dislike my comment. If you do, put in the comments. I love it. But yeah, I think I make fun at myself enough that when I'm being arrogant, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my mindset. But yeah, I think it's probably flash kick DP stuff for Strive and kind of like Tyrant in Dragon Ball.
Well, the good news is Dragon Ball is pretty much done now, but also Tyrant has now left the UK.
Tyrant US.
Tyrant US. He is now, so you are now the only Tyrant in the UK, C4.
I am free.
You are free.
I am free.
You are free. But you mentioned a key word there, mindset. And so I want to ask a question about your mindset. Like, how do you define success in your commentary?
That has changed one or two times.
Good. I would hope so. Like you mentioned,
yeah,
Dunk.
I get that. Yeah,
you evolved when Dunk turned up as the most recent, and you evolved whilst chasing jammers. I say chasing jammers. That doesn't sound right, but like, yeah, being friends with jammers, you saw him in a different light in terms of commentary. Like as friendships go, that was probably fine. But when you see him commentate, you probably think like, I could probably do the same job, similar to what Jammers does for Street Fighter in my game.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. I definitely thought that.
Yeah.
So I think when I was in like the rival arc with Dunk, my mindset was to, I don't know the word for it. It's basically like be accepted enough that people will listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember wording it like that because like, I don't care about being liked. I honestly don't. I mean, most people don't normally say that. Actually, I'm a bit weird. Yeah, I don't care about not being liked. I couldn't care less. But I need you to respect me enough to listen when I'm saying something sick.
That could be popularity, or that could just be aura. Could be, could name that in a number of different ways. But yeah, being respected enough to listen to what you're saying, even though they may not like you.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't want, to me, it was always like not throwing shade at anyone else who does garner like respect in this way. I didn't want to be respected because people liked me. I think that was like a cheat code, and it wasn't genuine. I don't think it's genuine people like you because, they listen to you because they like you. I want it to be like, you might find me arrogant or a know-it-all, but when I say something like, oh, that was a 6 shimmy because X, Y, Z, I want to be good enough that you have to take that in, regardless if you hate my guts or not. That was my mindset when Dunk was, me and Dunk were doing Dragon Ball.
Sure.
And then I think it changed more that I feel with the amount of other commentators, and I kind of assume their goal or what they're trying to achieve or their mindset. I was like, okay, I need my mindset needs to be more flexible. And I've spoken to like Laz and Dunk and Jammers about this, whereas I want to be someone who can be put next to anyone and not just exist as like C4 and co-commentator, but be a fusion. Like, oh, when these two are together, they're sick. Or when these two, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more than two individual commentators.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make every commentator set with someone a duo, because there's quite a few commentary blocks I've done where I wasn't flexible and I commentated with my co-commentator in the exact same way.
Right.
Perfect example is me and Lazarus. And I've told Laz this and I've streamed about it. I was like, one of my worst blocks in like the last 2 years was with Laz. And I think Laz is a top tier commentator. It's just that we both do the same thing, so we step over each other's toes all the time.
Sure.
And I was like, when I was literally breaking it down on stream, I was doing a VOD review of my commentary with Laz. And I was like, Laz was in the stream as well. And I was like, Laz, I'm not saying, he was hearing what I was saying, was like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. I was like, no. I'm critiquing my commentary. I should be good enough to adapt. If someone's doing what I like doing, I should be able to shift into another role. So that kind of been my mindset now, is to be not like a jack of all trades, but be flexible enough to be at a good level at what I need to be.
To be that bamboo scaffolding. Sorry, I watched Rush Hour recently. But yeah,
I'll take it.
To be that bamboo scaffolding. Fair. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's to be able to be flexible enough that you are able to fill in a role where your co-commentator may potentially have the same quirk as you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's fair. You mentioned duos with commentary. Obviously, they normally come in pairs. Mm-hmm. A side question I have is, which commentary pair do you look up to? Could be for any game. Obviously, there's so many pairs and so many different games out there. Like, could be anyone.
I used to look up to. Well, there was two that. It was two, but it was for the same reason.
Sure.
It was way back when I used to watch LBC.
Okay.
And it was Yipes, Chris Matrix, and Chris Hu and Aqua.
Yeah.
Aqua Silk.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, bro, I just want to chat shit with my friends. That's all I wanted to do. And that's what they presented when they were commentating. But then I got paid for commentary and I was like, oh, okay, it's a bit different.
So, let's swear it.
Yeah, there's like rules and stuff. I think after that, I didn't have any. I maybe you asked this earlier, like who you look up to. I don't look up to anyone. I honestly don't. And it's not because I'm trying to like not pick one person.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing I had was that I didn't want to be. This is going to be weird. Because Jammers and Theory are like really close friends.
Yes.
Jammers was taken off with commentary, being all the CBTs, blah, blah, blah. And Theory popped off in his YouTube. And I was like, I want to be left out. So, yeah, I didn't think I have to get to the level, but I was like, I've got to do something as well with it. I can't let these guys just take all of the glory. So,
sure.
I didn't look up to them, but they were like they were the carrot. Yeah. They were the carrot to keep going.
Yeah. They were the goalposts. And yeah, so again, shout out to Jammers. We already had him on in season 1. Please go check that episode out. But Theory Fighter has an amazing YouTube, does amazing, I want to say mini documentaries, I guess, breakdowns of like game mechanics or games in general, and just wonderful videos. Like check him out, because he is, again, Theory is a sound guy as well. But yeah, right, back to normal questioning. So with your definition of success, what do you think is the most successful thing you've done in your commentary career?
The most successful thing I've done in my commentary career?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I think each year, it's one of those things when you really want something and then you buy it, and then it kind of loses the intensity that you wanted it before kind of goes away.
Yes.
So
sure.
before you do Evo's your success. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Then you do Evo and you're like, you're still proud that you did it.
Yeah.
But then you look back and it's like, well, me personally, everything I've done, this is the Vegeta syndrome. Everything I've done, I'm like, I could have done better.
Sure.
Everything I've done, especially in commentary. I'll watch it back and I could say like twice in a sentence and I'm like, could have done better. Or I could have said when I could have just been silent and I'm like, could have done better. I always have something where I can do better. So
I'll reword the question for you then.
Okay.
Which event do you most want to have a run back on because you think you could do better?
Probably, it's bittersweet, but probably Twitch Rivals. I did Twitch Rivals GUI Gear.
Okay.
And I can't find the VODs.
Oh,
but it always, in my head, I'm like, I think I could have done better. But I can't check how bad I did because I can't find the VOD. The VOD has just disappeared into the ether. So if you want a tangible one, probably ICFC, because I found it quite challenging doing 4 people commentary to start with.
Yeah.
I went through the stages of being like too quiet because I didn't want to interrupt no one, and then thinking, well, what's the point of me pulling up if I'm not going to say anything? Then going, talking too much, talking over people. But I guess this is something I'm proud of.
Okay.
Shout out to James Chen.
Okay.
I commentated with James Chen.
Yep.
ICFC, first time even talking to me. Like, I was a nobody to him, right? And then after like 2 ICFCs, I got it, where I didn't get James Chen before that. I thought he was like the annoying sidekick to Ultra David. And then I spoke to him. I was like, oh, this guy's a genius. He's a genius. He's actually so smart. It's insane. And then on his award show, he gave me like,
yes,
I don't know, Rising Star, commentator.
Yeah.
I guess that made me proud. Like,
there you go. Someone in the industry that has been doing commentary for so long, someone like James Chen, recognizing the hard work you yourself, C4, has put in, and getting an award out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get a trophy if anyone was wondering. It was just like a shout, like, oh, yeah, this is, I've become a commentator. But I remember it, and I think this did make me feel a bit that way, because he had no reason to be biased for me.
Yeah.
He didn't know me from a hole in the wall, right? It would have been different if like Jammer said, oh yeah, watch C4, he's going to be the next big thing. It's just like, he's my friend. Like, yeah, that's because James Chen didn't know me, and he still rated me. That's what made me proud. And my most cherished moment, I wouldn't put him proud, but my most cherished moment is when I did Art World Tour, and Skill's mum liked my commentary. Skill told me his mum was watching and she liked my commentary, and I was like, I've ticked all the boxes. I don't care if you don't like my commentary. Skill's mum does. I got a mum to like my commentary, bro. Hold that.
Fair play.
Cherish that.
Honestly, I would too. And yeah, I think that hits one of your goals, right? You came into commentary to be able to be accessible to not just players, but everyone else, general public. And if a player's mum, a player's parent comes in and says they like your commentary, that is a big win, because whose parents truly understand why they play fighting games?
Yeah, that's all. It sounds super corny, and even though I've got a kid, it still sounds corny to me. But I want, and also something else I did, but I don't think I've said so far, is I did a commentary for British esports in the UK.
Nice.
Which is basically a college league. So colleges around the UK will play in Counter-Strike and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rocket League, whatnot. But it would start in the Street Fighter one. So I started commentating for under 18 Street Fighter. And that was, the skill thing resonated in my head. I was like, I can get someone's mum to like this. This is what I should do. I want parents to be like, oh, what my son or daughter's doing is skillful, not just mashing buttons. Like, they're taking time to learn. And I think as a parent, you can't always see not just the fruits of the labor, but the difficulty in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think fighting games get a bad rap for just being like not hard.
Yeah.
But they're grueling, man. It's like a solo one person journey through like torture. Like, you have to lose a lot, and there's a lot of downtime in team mode that you don't want to do, but you have to do it, and you've got no one else but to blame when you lose but yourself. And yeah, I just wanted parents to be proud, even though it's the fight, even though it's the Street Fighter or whatever. I still want them to be proud in what that person has achieved. So yeah,
that's right. No, that is honestly a great mentality to have. Skill's mom loves your commentary, and then doing British esports and doing under 18, commentating under 18 Street Fighter 6, was it? Or 5?
Yeah, Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6. So even
yeah, I think it was 6. It was 6.
Yeah. So a current generation game, and trying to convince parents that, hey, your child has put in numerous hours in training mode that you haven't seen, and the things they're doing, and you're able to break it down, and then tell them, and so they understand. Like, it's no mean feat. Sorry, go on.
No. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, everyone has had a parent there where you've had to do some technical troubleshooting to get them online back on their PC, and you know how difficult it is trying to explain things to your parents over the phone. So doing it for commentary is in commentary form. Yeah, is amazing. Sorry, and you were going to say C4.
Yeah, I was going to say it's funny because I don't share what I've done in fighting games with my family. I assume they don't get it.
Fair.
Like, but when it's other people's family, I'm like, what your child has done mentally on the mind game level is insane. They're playing real-time chess. I hope you know that. Like, even if something simple as a shimmy, where to like the FGC, we all go, oh my gosh, shimmy. But it's such a simple concept. But when I commentate, I'm like, I can't just say a shimmy. I have to explain the mind game in the shimmy. And I remember when I used to get so hyped about this, and it used to knock me off a little bit that no one else around me did. When Endon Walker did wake up sweep to people trying to shimmy him, I was like, he did it. We have a messiah. Like, everyone knows that's the answer, right? That's how you beat walking back.
Yeah.
You sweep. But I felt like no one was like, had the cojones to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, hold on, buddy.
They do it. Yeah. We'll just wait there. Like, just stand out range and wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, Endon Walker was like one of the few people I saw consistently going, I'm just going to wake up sweep because I know you're going to shimmy.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, but if you don't understand the mind game, that looks so derpy. And that's why I wanted to keep commentating. To anyone else, even so, like, I guess if you didn't know it was Endon Walker and you saw someone do wake up sweep, you might think, well, that's kind of scrubby, isn't it?
Yeah, who's that scrub? Who's that newbie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there's a delineation that commentators can make to be like, oh, that was kind of like a Gandhi moment where they just did it. Or there was prerequisite knowledge that person had to calculate and formulate an option to go, I'm going to beat the most common option, which is walk back and do something really risky as a sweep. Because if you block the sweep, I die.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
as a sweep,
I really want to push that in like 5 seconds when I do commentary. I want to get that across.
And it's difficult, especially you think 5 seconds is a long time. When you're waiting for 5 seconds, yes, it's a long time. But when you're commentating, it disappears so quickly. So we've already mentioned your, like, well, not you specifically, but, a potential duo you may look up to, your co-commentators that you've worked with, ICFC, and working in a group of 4 instead of your traditional 2 or pair for commentary. On the reverse of that, if you were put in the shoes of production, and having to build out a team of commentators, what do you look for? Like we've already spoken in this episode, like how you grew as a commentator, what you look for as a commentator, like, and how you evolved thanks to specific people. I don't want to keep saying thanks to Dunk, because that just rubs me the wrong way. But yeah, so if you were the stream producer, event director, whatever you want to call it, and you were in charge of finding the talent, the commentators to help commentate your games, what specific things would you look for, having already been a commentator yourself?
I think there's got to be some bias, only because I believe what I bring is the most important. Obviously, I'm going to think that. So I can use people as an example, because I think it'll be a bit easier than having like a vague, like this, and this is what I put in here. I want someone like Lazarus. Lazarus is the perfect blend of like Rain Man and nerdy, but he can illustrate his points really eloquently. And when I listen to him, it's not the same as like what Jammers does or someone who's into like frame data. He's more like me, where it's like the mind game. The mind game is the more important thing, because I think you can replicate moves, frame data, situations in team mode. You can't replicate a mind game. You just can't. Like, the mind game is where it is right there.
Yeah.
And there's so many factors that create that mind game, whether it be that the players have to wake up at like 7:30 in the morning, they're jet lagged, they've had a Monster Energy drink, they've done a punko and got their shirt off or whatever. There's so many factors that go to that mind game, you can't replicate it. And Lazarus is one of the other people that I think, and like I said, when we clash, we look at a situation and we will only talk about the physical properties of moves and stuff when it's necessary to explain the hype of a player versus player, like mine versus mine interaction.
Okay.
So definitely Laz, he's the type of person. Other person's Jonesy. I love wordplay. One of the pet peeves I have with commentators is there are so many fucking words in the English language, and we basically use like 10% of it. There is so, like, I know sometimes Jammers does it, and people are seeing chat like, what's he using that word for? It's like, because he's using his brain. There's so many words, Drift.
There are so many words.
There's so many words. There's so many English words. I've got like a thesaurus. There's so many similes for words, and we just stick to the same things. And all on top of that, fire game lingo, a lot of it sucks. Example, happy birthday sucks. Because if you don't play fire games, what the fuck is a happy birthday? What has a happy birthday got to do with two people getting hit in a combo?
Okay. I'm going to pause my questioning there for a quick second. Divert it to happy birthday.
Okay.
For those that don't understand what happy birthday is, people that are listening or watching, you're probably coming from the fighting game scene. You know what happy birthday is. For those that don't, a happy birthday is in a game where there are a team. It's a team game, really, right? It's like in Marvel, not in King of Fighters. Like, what other team games are there?
Skullgirls.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
Yeah. It's 3v3, and you have, is it called active tag, technically?
It depends. Skullgirls is active tag, but yeah, when you call an assist. When you call
an assist, you basically get to hit that. You manage to hit the main character and the assist that the opponent calls in, and then you can do a massive combo and hit them both for large amounts of damage. And if you manage to kill both of them, or even one of them, happy birthday, you get a present. Yeah, tell me I'm wrong. Okay, cool.
That is, and that's kind of where the lingo came from. It's like, I got gifted a gift,
yes,
of hitting your assist character.
Yeah,
and then the extension of that makes sense as well. When you know the context, Merry Christmas is when you get free characters.
Yeah,
all the birthday's 2 characters. Merry Christmas is 3 characters. Super rare, doesn't happen often. No, that's the thing.
Yeah,
but if somebody doesn't watch fire games, hears that, they're gonna know. Yeah. So
what would you call it?
In Dragon Ball, if it's two female characters, I'll say 2 girls, 1 combo. And if you laugh, that means your mind is in the gutter, and that's not a problem on me. That's a problem on you.
Thanks. Thank you.
But 2 girls, 1 combo exactly tells you what is happening on screen, does it not?
I got this.
Anyone, whose mum can understand two girls, one combo, two female characters in a combo. That's it. But normally I'll say like, oh, he's got both of them at happy birthday. So I'll explain what the happy birthday is.
Okay.
Because sometimes, you know, the lingo, it's cool when people get the lingo because they feel more integrated in the community.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I do get it. But there's other things like OS and option select. I'm like, do we really need to use that? Like, it's cool for shorthand.
Yes.
Like just going OS.
Yeah.
It's cool, or fuzzy mash. But I think some people hinge on the lingo so much that they forget that some people might not know what that is. And I think, again, so many words we have in our language, we can explain multiple things in different ways. And it's just like, just do that. Use the words that were given to us.
Yeah.
So, yes. Anyway, circling that back, Jonesy. Base Jonesy is a wordsmith. Him and Sir, I'll say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Jonesy and, Sir, she's super, super sick at commentary.
Yeah.
We used to do something online when I used to do CDK, and shout out to Nick V. He used to do it as well. I got it from him. I straight up jacked it. We did a thing called a word drop where someone in stream could like redeem using, the stream points or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would put a random word in chat, and then the commentators had to use that word in commentary.
In a proper sentence, or just drop the word?
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
In a proper sentence.
Okay.
And they had to like fluently put it in. So they could put something like washing machine. Actually, like washing machine's too easy. You say like they got washed in the washing machine.
Yeah.
They'll see something crazy. Like I was putting words like onomatopoeia and say like, good luck and Godspeed, sir. Like, and Sir would do it. She would do it perfectly. And same with Jonesy. So their wordplay, I think, is almost untouched because I've seen how they've interacted on the spot.
Yeah.
Like on the spot, they see a word or they'll see a pun and get it straight away and deliver it perfectly. And then other than that, I would probably want someone like Damascus, where I think Damascus has the strongest quirk with like multiple languages, and the professionalism. Again, this is like jammers as well. Those two are probably the best commentators I've interacted with that can listen to production talk to them and not let the stream know that that's happening. I can watch most other commentators, and I've got a keen eye because I do it too. I've got a keen eye, so I'll see their eyes flicker up to the left, and I'll be like, production talking to them.
Yeah.
And they're trying to listen while hear the key pieces of their co-commentator so they can reply back.
Yeah.
I see that. With Jammers and Damascus, you'll never see it.
No.
You'll never see it. And Damascus can do it with someone French talking into his ear while I'm talking to him. He's broken. Actually, so their level of commentary etiquette, even like stuff like that, putting the wire behind your back and stuff, flawless.
Yeah.
Flawless.
I will say
that's the kind of thing.
I will say Damascus has a bit of a natural bonus, being a natural French speaker. English is not his first language, so he does obviously be able to understand French in the background. But yeah, the brain power it requires to be able to have both ears listening to two different things and respond to one, where it's a co-commentator, and still absorb the information from stream producer in your ear, is unmatched. That is a skill I can't do. I've tried, it doesn't work. I've been speaking to people on both sides, and just no, it doesn't work. But yeah, so people like Jammers in Damascus with their commentary etiquette and their charisma, I guess. Like, I would say Damascus's language skills are unmatched for sure, but he brings that in with his charisma. Like you could be a person that speaks 5 languages, but if you don't have charisma on the mic, like I don't think it would do much personally.
Yep.
But those two,
agree.
Charisma, Sir Jonesy,
Wordplay.
With their wordplay, like amazing
wordsmiths, actual wordsmiths.
They are amazing people as well. Shout out to those guys.
Yep.
And then Lazarus is your third choice or original.
Yeah, Lazarus for the I guess the code switching of information.
Yeah.
The code switching of information. That's the best way I put it. Yeah. And I would like to think that I have elements of all those three aspects. That's why I would want them.
Yeah.
As a production, I'd be like, yeah, they're the three things that I think I do fairly well.
Yeah.
So I want those elements. I know there's other things, like there's a lot of commentators like Viram, who is an encyclopedia. You can't ask. There is no question that Viram doesn't know about Grand Blue. There's just nothing. There's just nothing. He knows, like, he could probably describe you all the outfit colors and the whole cast. Damn, like he's insane. Like, you say a move and he won't just tell you the frame there of it now. He'll tell you the frame there has been for the last 4 years of the game. Yeah, he's one of those guys. I think that's a really good quality. But yeah, if I was production, I probably would have picked the other three first.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, there's a bit of bias there. So
fair. And I don't want to shy away from this fact that when people are being chosen for commentary for a job, and I think this is a very two-sided coin here. Not two-sided coin, but there's 2 points from this podcast I really want to raise, especially with you on here, C4, is that people say there isn't bias when choosing people for a job. There is always some sort of bias, especially with commentary. Like, people get chosen because they are the current hotness, or they are that great at the job, or they have something that's required for that position. And like you said, with you, like in this scenario where you are the stream director and you want people that work similar to how you work, it's why you chose those people. It's not to say everyone else is bad, but this would be your first choice because this is what you like. And the second point I have, or that has been raised in this episode while speaking to you, really, is that a few episodes of this podcast already have mentioned, like, you have to be a team player. You have to be somewhat liked to be able to come back to a job. You mentioned, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or twist it in any way, shape, or form, but you've mentioned that you don't care about being liked. You will just do your job and do it how you see fit. And I think that is the case where, sometimes you do have to, you still deliver on your job. You still do your thing on the mic, off the mic, behind the stage, in front of the stage, in front of the camera, whatever it is. Like, you're just doing it because you're trying to deliver the best you can deliver because it's what you want to be there for. And whether people like you for it or not, that is personal choice. You are obviously the exception to a rule where some people may not like you, but you still keep getting the job. I'm assuming everyone does like you anyway, but, with the attitude of, I don't care if you like me or not, it can come across as abrasive to some people. But I've known you long enough that I don't personally care, and I have a laugh with you regardless. So, but that's the 2 points I want to make. And then...
Can I talk a bit about that last point?
Go.
Yeah, because you are right. Anything properly is a team-based effort, right? If you want to get somewhere, my greatest strength is my biggest weakness, and it's networking. I just don't... Again, I don't care if you like me or not. I care if I'm good enough for the job. But a lot of times, to get to the step of you being hireable, you have to be likable. And I shoot myself in the foot a lot of times. Well, I don't know I've shot myself in the foot. I can only assume that my I don't care attitude works against me in terms of getting to those positions. But when I'm on the commentary, it normally works in my favor.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. I don't think anyone who's getting into commentary should do that. Be a team player. Just be amicable, be approachable, be communicative. Don't be like me, who doesn't like small talk and doesn't like networking. It's not... It makes my life way harder. I'll be totally honest. It makes my life way harder. So don't copy that bit of me. If you are going to copy me at all, don't do that.
Yeah. And then the next point from the question we've already had, that I've already given you, and you are mentioning that the vast I'm lost for words. The vast amount of English language has in terms of words, and that we can use, especially for you as a commentator. There are words that people just don't decide to not use. How do you feel about commentators or commentary using adopted words from other languages. For example, abare from Japanese, okazemi. Like, there are plenty of words in the English language where you can describe that already, but why would you feel necessary to pull in from a different language?
So with abare specifically, I don't know if I would put this across to other words.
Okay.
Abare and mash, I feel we all have this as commentators. I think everyone in the FTC understands the difference between an abare and a mash. Even though they're definitionally the same, when you hear abare, you're like, oh, that was big brain. That was a good mash. Thumbs up mash. But when you say mash, it's bad. But they're the same situation. It's just that one was good and one was bad. So I think sometimes you can use a different language of, like, you can use the language of another country for the same words, and it can mean different things slightly.
Sure.
With Oki, though, if I hear Oki and I hear set play, I'm like, that's the same. that is pretty much the same. There's no, like, indistinguishable thing I could think of. Something like Yomi, that used to get used quite a bit. Yeah, they stopped.
Good. Personally.
Yeah, I wasn't too fond of Yomi. Even though I can't remember if that was like an abbreviation or another language. Can't remember.
I don't think it was. I think it was Japanese. It was Yomi.
Was it Japanese?
Yeah.
It is weird because I kind of do it. I say omelette du damage instead of fromage. I don't know if that counts, but that's another language.
That's a play on words, because you're not saying omelette de fromage. You are saying omelette du damage, and you are playing on damage, really. Not cheesily. I'm like, everyone's seen the Dexter episode somehow. Yeah. Everyone has seen the Dexter episode, so everyone knows what omelette du damage. Yeah, like... Yeah. You know the reference. You understand the reference.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't even make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. But you get one, you hear the end bit, damage, and you're like, oh, damage. Right, cool. We got there eventually. It's I don't know. I've not really thought about other languages because I've commentated with Sharon, and that was early on in Dragon Ball, and I was scared because I was like, this guy's charisma is off the charts, mate. He has maxed out that skill tree. There is no way I can match his hype. It's just impossible. He's literally got a whole country hyping him up and being hyped from his commentary. And then he will break into Spanish. I don't know a lick of Spanish. So I'm literally just there going, yep, yeah. Whatever you just said, exactly. It was literally thumbs up, kids. Like, so bless. I remember after the break, I was like, okay, I can't keep up. I need to stop chasing his hype and do my own hype. And I think I did well in the second half. But what he did when he was like commentating in English, then he got hyped, he instantly turned to Spanish. Yeah. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. It's weird because I'm like, you're hyped, but I don't know what you're saying. But it's definitely hype. But it works. Yeah, it definitely works. And not many people can get away with that.
No, definitely not. I think it's for, if you have the language, if you have the ability to speak multiple languages fluently, I can't even speak one properly right now. There is a benefit, and if you can manage to spin it so that you are able to accurately and actively describe what is happening on screen, especially the fighting game, in 2 different languages, more power to you. Do it. See what happens. Yep. It won't hurt. And if the director doesn't like it, they'll tell you to stop. All right, cool. Or just stick to one language, whatever. So that's your team. And we've already mentioned, like, you've already shown the amount of badges, lanyards, and miscellaneous items that you've gathered over the years of attending events. Which one has been your favorite? Could be for any number of reasons, but as long as it's for commentary, we're going to keep it in commentary in mind. What has been your favorite event that you've attended where you were working commentary?
Probably Dragon Ball Z World Tour 2023? Yeah. 2022. It was like at the end of COVID, so we didn't have a proper World Tour. What they did is they had 3 regional finals regional finals. Not finals, is regional finals in France. So they had the EU one, obviously. Then they had America. Mm-hmm. So they flew over American players that were qualified. But then the Asia stream or Japanese stream was streamed to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was there for the EU one and the... Oh, no, there might have been 2 NA ones, actually. They got Posey Acoustics for one and then Jake Run for the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were my most fun, I think. I think they were my most fun, yeah.
Yeah. And shout out to Acoustics and Posey, because those 2 are great guys as well. Yes, love to them. So you started commentary because you decided to stop people misinforming about and downplaying Leo for numerous reasons and years.
Yes.
That is one way of getting into commentary, and then obviously going to Park Gaming and going to Meltdown and working with the Twins. Not everyone in London has the opportunity to go to an event or a monthly, weekly that's run by the Twins. Like, how would you, and before I even go to the question, I will also have to mention, people picked up cameras, picked up microphones, started doing online commentary or commentary for online events. With all of that said and all of that in mind, like, how in this day and age would you, if someone asked you how to get into where you are with rubbing shoulders next to Jammers, Damascus, Logan, Lazarus, Ringe, James Shen, like, how would you recommend them getting exposure and start building to become a commentator like you, C4?
I'll say to get into the position I'm in, don't be like me, but yeah, to get in my position, if you're starting off from like scratch, all you've done is played online, I guess. Yeah. The first thing I'll be like, you need to get in those Discords and try to do some online commentary. Like back in the day, we've already spoken about places like Salt Mines, Damascus Running Wanted. It was one of the big reasons I streamed, like CBK. I think Dunk started on CBK. Yeah, so Dunk commentated. So I did CBK for me. I did solo commentary for the first, 2 months. Because I was like, no, I need to get good at commentary. And it's like, well, what's the best way to get matches? Run around robin. Yeah. So I ran around robin and commentated my own round robin. I was like, well, so I kind of bypassed the advice I was giving to everyone else. So when I'm telling other people to get on other online platforms, you could just make your own like I did. You could just do that.
It's harder, but it's doable.
Yeah, it is way harder. Way, 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 way harder. 100%. It was a little bit... I was in a good position because that was like the first Dragon Ball traditional game, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go to other communities to pull players.
Yeah.
I just said Dragon Ball tournament. And this was before Wanted. This was early, literally week 1 of the game.
Yeah.
So you just go into it and look, I'm holding a round robin. And people just, everyone just fell in. So that was pretty easy. If you don't have that luxury, then you need to get in the Discord, talk to TOs that run online events. Normally they don't ask for much. They might ask for a reel, but obviously if it's your first time, you don't have a reel. So, but you can do stuff to prove to them that you're right for the spot. And that could be you streaming the game. You streaming, whether it be replays, like Jammers does. Jammers will just go over replays.
Yeah.
Show your mindset or how you break down situations, because that's a lot of what commentary is.
Yeah.
Or play-by-play. You can listen to your commentary. I know something Jammer said was that he used to commentate his COD matches or something.
Yeah.
So he didn't even do it in fighting games. He would play COD and then commentate his COD match. So as long as you can get footage, and in this day and age, it's so easy to get footage, you can commentate.
Yeah.
That's it. So easy. I would say the important thing is early on to figure out why you're commentating. What's the reason? I mean, what's the reason? Being honest with yourself, because some people might be doing it for the clout. Some might be doing it for the E-fame, the micro E-celebrity thing. And that's fine. I had a big conversation on my stream about it's okay to be a hobbyist. If you want to do this as a hobby, that's fine. And then you know where you stand. Because you won't waste your time improving because you don't care. You're just doing it as a hobby. You're just doing it for a bit of fun, right?
True.
But yeah, find out why you're doing it in the first place. That would be my second piece of advice.
Sure.
Get the matches, talk about it, figure out why you're doing it. I think the next big step is out of your control because it's about the right person seeing you at the right time. Unfortunately.
There is always luck.
Really shit, but...
Yeah, there is always an element of luck to all our jobs, especially in this industry. But at the same time, you know, you put in the hard work. You've do so many commentary slots, online, offline, locals, regionals, whatever. Eventually, someone's going to notice, and then you get that call up going like, "Hey, do you want to come on?" Or you apply and go, "Yeah, I like your work. Come on." Either or.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people might ask you to come on, or you apply and go, "Yeah, you're good enough to be on this stage with us now." Like, you just got to put in the time, put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? What was that? Is that what said?
Just quickly to piggyback off that, I can't remember who said it. I think it was Ringe.
Shout out to Ringe.
Shout out to Ringe, yeah. I think they said a tweet something about he commentates like it's going to be his last commentary job. That's how he takes every position. And I was like, I think I was talking to Jammers about it, and I was like, yeah, I've never looked at it like that. I never commentate thinking it's my last time. I think I commentate thinking every 10 seconds could be 10 seconds that an important person sees.
Yeah.
So someone, the person that's going to get you on the world tour, or get you at Evo, or get you to the next offline, you have to look at every 10 seconds of your commentary and make sure in that 10 seconds, you've done something worthwhile. Like something that only you could do as a commentator. Whether it be a joke or it be an accent. Like, shout out to Jake Ryan. He does the funniest Kermit the Frog impersonation. And I'm like, I wish I could do stuff like that. I can't do it. But yeah, you need to keep thinking, this is what fuck all that. The one piece of advice I would give anyone.
Yeah.
Some people, I've told people this, and some people don't agree, and some people do. But let's say it's not about being good at commentary, it's about being irreplaceable. Find out the thing that makes you irreplaceable, and I think you'll go further than just being good at commentary.
Yeah, no. Again, I've spoken to you so many times on and offline, and had this and been part of this conversation so many times. You know where I stand on it. I'm not going to go back there. But guys, what do you think about that one piece of information C4 has just dropped? Be irreplaceable. Like, drop your comments in below in the YouTube section. Yeah, let us know what you think. Finally, I say finally, there's always going to be more questions because you always give me more ammunition, C4.
So my bad.
That's fine. It's perfectly fine. What is one thing you want people to know about your role as a commentator that they should definitely realize and know about before, like, applying themselves to even being a hobbyist or trying to pursue this professionally?
They should know about me,
about the role,
in general.
About the role. Like, I want to be a commentator, C4. Like, what is the one secret that or one thing that people don't realize from the outside looking in to your role? Like, they should really know before going, I want to do this.
I would say you are the linchpin to entertainment, education, involvement from a viewer's perspective to the community. Whether it be like a specific game like Under Night in Birth, for example. Someone might be just flicking around, they see a character that's interesting, they're watching. Your job as a commentator, whether you like it or not, is to hook that person in with either, like I said, education, entertainment, blah, 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 blah. And you want them to feel comfortable enough to ask questions in chat. I think it's very easy to talk to people. It's very hard for a commentator to engage with people. One thing you should never do is look at stream chat. I do all the time.
There we go.
When I'm commentating, I always look at stream chat. But even though I say you shouldn't look at stream chat, you should be hoping that you're your commentary is making stream chat engage. Because I think bringing the aesthetic to a stream of like a house session is so super important, or like an arcade, just an arcade vibe. And I think some people can lose the aspect, and they're just giving you information. They're telling you this is -4 without context, and you should just know this. They don't engage with the stream. So I would say that's the most important thing. Don't forget that you're talking to real life people, which is hard to conceptualize when all you're seeing is like names, a wall of names on stream chat. But they are real people 99% of the time. Like, you might get some bots in there, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. Fair. Right, that's it for my question. C4, thank you very much for your time. The final question I always have is, where can people find you? What anything you want to shout out, or what's the next event?
So find me. I am C4IQ on Twitch, YouTube, X, Twitter, everything. If I'm on anything, it'll be that. I'm not on like Snapchat or Instagram. You won't find me there. Mostly Twitter and Twitch, I guess. Yeah. I've not uploaded to YouTube in years, literally. The next event I want to say is Crossover.
Oh yeah, that's happening soon
in Germany.
Yes.
I think it's Crossover.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I did apply to Combo Breaker.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Yeah. 10-year anniversary. Let's go this year.
Yeah, Combo Breaker is like one of the sickest events I've ever been to.
And that was unprompted by me. So, but yeah, and not unprompted by this sofa backdrop right here. And we've shouted out so many people and so many teams and groups and TOs over the course of this episode. Is there any more shout outs that you want to do? Anyone in particular you want to shout out before we end this episode?
Well, now I feel bad if I didn't shout out.
We've covered a lot of it.
This is a mean question.
It's great. We've covered a lot of people, especially when it's a lot of mutual friends as well. And they've already been mentioned at the beginning or at some point in this episode, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But
okay. I can give some like sweeping ones, like shout out to anyone in the WhatsApp group. If you know, you know. Shout out to anyone in the Discord. If you know, you know.
Oh, Jesus.
Shout out to anyone who's played me in Gear or NBCI or Cross Taken, I guess. Like, I'll just do carpet statements like that, and I'm sure I'll encompass all the people I need to.
Yeah.
Oh, one person that doesn't encompass that. Shout out to, real quick, I made it super quick.
Go.
In the last couple of, I don't know, like months, I changed my name to Yappentator. I realized my love of fighting games is talking about them more than playing. I like playing, but I like talking about games. So shouts to Mike Hollow, because I've just been going on his stream and chatting the most nonsense. That's been super fun. For me, for no one else. No one else probably had fun with me being there, but to me, talking about games I don't play, like MK and Tekken, been super interesting. Super interesting.
I'm not even going to open that can of worms, but yeah, enjoy your Tekken 8 travels, trials and tribulations, as it were, C4. But that's it. That's all my questioning done. Thank you very much for your time. Guys, please like, subscribe, do the usual. You can find a dedicated account on Blue Sky for this place, behind the stage. I don't even remember my own podcast name right now. YouTube, Spotify, your podcasting app. You know where to find us. I will catch you guys later. And C4, once again, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. You asked me some tough questions. I wasn't ready. I thought it was going to be easy. It was not.
Right, guys. See you later. Peace.